Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm officially finished with my sophomore year of college, which is evident by the last video I posted, which was my finals week vlog. So since that's over, finals are over, I'm done with that year of school. So I just thought it'd be fun to sort of go through, reminisce, look back on my sophomore year as a whole. I love watching these types of videos because I love seeing everyone's different experiences throughout their years at college. Everyone's so different, like all their experiences are so different. And I just like to be able to sort of see everyone else's so that way I get a view other than just my own. So I thought I would do that too. Just, this is what happened for me. This was my year. So, you know, I just thought this would be fun to look back on and see what I did sophomore year. All right, let's start off with academia, classes, all that good stuff. I am a video and film major and a journalism minor paired with a writing minor, so I have a double minor. So let's look at what classes I took, shall we? In the fall of 2017, I took 15 credit hours, but with my labs, it ended up being like a 19.5-hour semester, but I only got credit for 15 because the system screwed up and it's fine. I took single cam and it had a lab once a week. I took experience of literature, which was an English credit, speech, which its name was not speech, it was like something another about communications, but it was a speech class. Media writing and video journalism with a lab. That was the one that like tacked on a ton of my hours that I didn't get credit for because it's a 3 credit hour class. You meet for an hour 3 times a week, and then you have an hour and a half lab every single day. So like I met Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the class for an hour, and then we stayed for another hour and a half for a lab 3 times a week. That's just, I feel like you should get more than 3 credit hours for that, but whatever. Apparently my school disagrees. It's really fun to like look through these and play the fun game of spot the gen eds, because you can find them pretty easily. And then in the spring, I took 16 credit hours. My classes were general psychology, fiction writing, reporting, multicam that also had a lab, and then astronomy, and then an astronomy lab. Again, you can play the fun game of spot the gen eds in that one too. Now, like I said, 16 credit hours. So even though I still, with my labs, took more than 16 hours, but it's fine. They count science labs as an extra hour credit. But they don't count journalism or film labs as extra credit, which is, I don't understand. Those were my classes that I took. Yeah, they were fine, you know. I don't really have a ton to say about the classes. I feel like I have more to say about my involvement and just general stuff that I did throughout the year. My favorite class in the fall was my single chem class, and my favorite class this past semester in the spring was multicam. No, it was reporting. I mean, yeah, I liked multicam too, but reporting, I liked reporting better. Now let's move into just the general things that I did sophomore year that I thought were noteworthy. So I'm gonna start fall semester, so fall 2017. First off, I started going to a youth group. My freshman year, I was going to these little small groups that had only like a handful, like 5 girls, sometimes less in them. And I found out my sophomore year that they actually have a youth group that was much bigger. Well, I don't know if like much bigger is a great word because I think there were probably 30 or less people that would go to that, but I liked it a whole lot better. I met a lot of people, I really, really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of my favorite things that I started doing my sophomore year. I've talked about this in a couple of videos. I'm a part of my school's broadcast news program. It's a student run, it's not really a club. I don't know what we're technically called, but it's student run, and we have slots on our school's station called MT10, which is, I don't know if I should say it's run by students, but it's pretty much run by students. The big like show on it is the news. We have 3 different newscasts a week, and we do everything. You produce, report, shoot, direct, everything is done by students, even the management team. I was an AP my first semester and a producer my second semester. But as a sophomore, my first semester, I produced again, and I feel like I improved a ton that semester. When I did it the first time my freshman year, I felt like I was really just getting my feet underneath me. But first semester, sophomore year, I really felt like I was improving a lot and getting a good grasp on producing. And I actually won the Best Producer Award that semester for the program, so that was fun. And then I was asked at the end of that semester to be, for the following semester, I'm gonna say semester 5 million times in this video, to be the executive producer, which is part of the management team. So that was a really good high spot of that semester. I took my first film class where we actually got to make our own original content that was single cam. And my other classes, like screenwriting and post-production, was writing screenplays, or I was editing someone else's work, or I was learning about film history or whatever, but I wasn't actually, from start to finish, making my own piece. And in single cam, I did that. I made my own little 1-minute film at the beginning, but the big project was a documentary, and I made my own documentary about my old high school news program, and it was just like really fun, and I really enjoyed it. I posted it to this channel, so if you like want to see the type of things that film students make in like their first couple of years, you can watch it if you want. I became a producer for another show on MT10 called The Rise, which is like an infotainment show. It's a morning show. It's sort of like a mix between, I don't even know what it's a mix between, like Good Morning America, E! News, some sort of ESPN show, because we have a sports section of it too. Like, it's just a lot of different elements combined into one morning show. And I became a producer for that, so that's the first time I was doing like dual producing for 2 shows. I was producing for news, and I was also producing for that show as well. So that was fun. And I sort of got connected with this part of campus called MT Engage. That's this like program that they do to sort of, I guess, spread the word about different things on MTSU's campus. It's a cool program. They reached out to me actually because of YouTube from this channel, and sort of wanted to get me involved in that. Sadly, I didn't really get to do much with it because my second semester, which I'll talk about in a minute, got super crazy busy, and I really didn't have a whole lot of time to reach back out to them and try to mix it in with everything else that I was doing. But I did get to work with them a little bit. I have a post on their website. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see the post, but it was basically just like me making YouTube videos and also like blogging about them on their website and having posts. And I did one in the fall semester because it was at the very end of the semester when they reached out to me. And then, like I said, once it came back to spring and it started again, I didn't really have time. All right, moving into spring 2018. For the first time, I did multiple print stories, and that was because of my reporting class. I am a broadcast news writer. That is what I do. That's what producers do. We write for broadcast news. I write for broadcast news, and I don't really have much experience writing for anything else. Because of that class, I got to write 3 different print stories. They were like longer. They were about 700 to 900 words a piece, I do think, which isn't super long, but when you're gathering all the content yourself for it, it's like a lengthy piece because broadcast writing is like 25 seconds, and this is a lot longer than that, obviously. Sorry for the lighting, by the way. Half of this is natural lighting, and it's the sun is going behind clouds. So for the print stories, like I said, was trying something pretty much completely new. I never do print, and my professor really liked my stuff. So I was really excited to be able to know that I have a skill set other than just broadcast news, because as a producer, you do have to write for the web, and web writing is essentially print writing. They're like the same thing. So knowing sort of how to do both now was really great, and I'm really thankful that I got to take that reporting class. I found out that I'm gonna graduate early. I was not expecting that, but I found that out from my advisor this semester. I came in with a few credits, I think like 9 or so, from high school, and then I was taking 15 and 16 credits every single semester. Somehow, because of that, my advisor told me that if I keep taking 16 to 18 credits for the next 3 semesters, then I will graduate instead of 4 semesters. Part of that like made me a little bit sad, simply for the fact that graduating in 2020 is just, it's awesome. Like, that's a cool year. And now I'm gonna be graduating in December of 2019 unless something goes crazy weird wrong and I graduate on time. So like, you know, I had to get over that sadness of graduating on just a boring 2019 year instead of 2020, but it's fine. I realize in the long run it's better for me to graduate early. So that was an exciting little piece of news that I got this semester. I got to work the Mid-South Regional Emmys, and if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I didn't either. It's Emmys, you know, like TV awards, but for news and for like South, like the Southern region. So like you would get awards for different TV aspects in news. So that was really fun to get an opportunity to work with that because of MT10. It was exhausting. I was up at like 6:30 in the morning. Then we drove to Nashville and we didn't get finished until like after midnight, I think. It was a long day. It was a lot of work, a lot of like actual labor too. We had to load boxes of Emmys from like the truck up into the room and unbox them and everything. And just Emmys are sharp, okay? They are not like sharp as in something's like sharp, looking fancy. Like the actual trophy is physically sharp. Like the wings on them, I think is what they're supposed to be. I almost cut my thumb open on one of them when I was unboxing it. Like those suckers are sharp. So for any TV people out there who could potentially be getting Emmys in the future, beware of the wings, okay? Don't cut yourself. Anyway, that was a super fun experience. I also got to go to AP Awards actually very recently. This was in April. And if you don't know what those are, they're the Associated Press Awards, which Associated Press is a journalism thing. And I got to go to the Collegiate Awards and see those. And then I got to go to the actual professional awards, which are the real news stations like Channel 5, Channel 3, Channel everything around, I think they were just Tennessee. It was a Southern AP thing. It was still really a great opportunity to go and see and, you know, network, see all those people. It was cool. Like I mentioned earlier, it was my first semester of being the executive producer of MT10 News, which was really fun. It was also a lot. I also produced again for The Rise. That was fun, but doing both of those things took up a lot of time, as well as all of my classes. It was very busy. It was a very, very busy semester. Being the executive producer was really fun. It was my first time on management. I also learned that I will continue to be on management until I graduate, essentially. So I will either be assistant news director or executive producer this following semester, and then the following semester I will be news director, which is the head of the whole thing. For 2 semesters, you know, that's how long people do that, and then after that I'll be graduating, so that'll be interesting. I also found out I'll be taking over The Rise because the girl who was executive producer before it is leaving us, sad, but so I will be executive producer of MT10 News and executive producer of The Rise. So I'm gonna be even busier this next semester than I was this semester, which is really hard to fathom because I was very busy. It's gonna be an interesting upcoming semester. Oh, I also declared my minor. Don't remember which semester I did it in, but I declared, journalism I had already declared my minor, but I declared a second minor of writing. So that happened, one of the 2 semesters. Don't remember which, but it was this year at least. Oh, and then like the sad, to keep this real, like the sad part of this, I know a lot of these things were like good things that I wanted to remember, but I did make my first B this year in my experience of literature class. Took me off the dean's list, that dang class. It was a tragic experience, but it was probably gonna happen eventually, so it happened this year. So yeah, that's just like a general overview of everything that happened. Basically, it was an interesting year because my first semester of sophomore year was my favorite semester so far of college, and still now it was my favorite semester. And then this past second semester was my least favorite. So it's fun how they can just switch on a dime like that. So that was my sophomore year in a nutshell. The noteworthy-ish parts of it, at least. I hope this was somewhat interesting if you're going into college soon, or if you're in college and you just want to like see what other people's years were like. That was mine. So anyway, yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to me. I put out new videos every single Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.